Hello my fine young fellow Motsits. How are you doing? As it's impossible to be unhappy in a bow tie, I'm going to give you 3 bits of really good news. The first is that you, yes I mean you, are bloody fascinating. Second, the world you live in is equally as fascinating. And third, I'm going to help you go jargon busting, so you can understand this world a little bit better. Welcome to modern social theory. Wait, don't go. You're just a few long words and seemingly unimportant concepts away from intellectual radness. Academics everywhere make things seem more complicated than they are. For example, concept number 1, ontology. Ontology sounds complicated. It isn't. It's just stuff. And what it's like. Philosophers and sociologists go on about ontology like it's being, existence. Which it kind of is, but it's just stuff, glorious stuff! And what it's like. Used in context, the ontology of this comb is that it's a comb, and it's black, and it's got prongs on it. That's all ontology is. The second area philosophers go into is called semantics, or meaning. This is usually to do with language. The ontology of this pen would be that it's a pen, and the semantics would be this. There's a very important difference between this and this. It's called the distinction between sense and reference, or meaning and ontology. But I will dedicate another vlog to that entirely because it's such a massive subject. If you just can't contain your excitement, the guy who came up with the distinction between sense and reference is called Gottlob Frege, and you can find his marvellous paper down here. The third and final area philosophers like to go into is logic. Logic is a fancy way of arranging things. And although we won't scurry around the ins and outs of logic in the same way that we will semantics and ontology, my attempts at anything more than an Aristotelian syllogism kind of look like this. So it's a bit of a blind leading the blind situation, really. But we will dig out areas of logic if and when we need them. I'm not saying that everything, or indeed anything, that I tell you will be illogical. I'm just not going to go into the nitty-gritty, boring mechanics of it, unless it's necessary. However, if I do find a way of making logic more accessible, I will tell you guys. Because that's the kind of guy I am. Also, I just want to point out that if you're a bigger boffin than I am, and I get something wrong, do tell me. And if I do find your objection to be justified, then I will correct it in the next vlog. We have ontology, semantics, logic, and that's it. So this is the end of our very first vlog. Well done for staying to the end. See you soon, my fine and fellow Motsits. Bye!